Day 49. Not much video today because I didn't get done with squat. So what I did do is order some parts for LMC for this column. This is the column out of a 76 that I've got. I'm going to do away with that. I'm going to use the whole column, change the wheel, and try to make this column work. If I can make it so this doesn't flop around all loose and janky, I should be fine. So I'll probably just nip that off and do something to smooth this out a little bit. I'll go with the flasher here. If I don't, I've got the flasher on my dash. If this is here, I'd prefer to use it. So as long as the wiring's good, it'll be good. This turn signal switch seems to be good. I'm going with it. I don't know what to get aftermarket-wise if I get an aftermarket column. If I come across something better, in the meantime, I'll get it. But I bought about $40 worth of pieces from LMC to replace the upper bearing and the lower bearing and this nylon bushing deal. Length is right, connection's right. If I get an aftermarket one, I'm going to have to do something funky down here to make it work. I don't know. This is what I'm going with for now. $40 worth of pieces ain't going to kill me. I'm just going out to LMC in the morning to pick those up. So, because if I do put it in, I just want to put it in once. So, and I can change it out later if I need to do that or whatever. I got this all bolted down. This should be final. This should be final as far as both master cylinders. Finished the boxing in on my pedal. I got that done. Right there. Got the plate in. See right there. I boxed that and just welded the crap out of it, and I hope it's solid enough. I hope that plate is good enough. Will it go? Give me 3,000 miles. That's all I want. Give me 3,000 miles. and just to see if it works. Whoa, where's the rear end? You're probably thinking. Well, let's back out. I just wrestled this sumbitch out by myself. And Larry was over the other day, and I think I mentioned on a past video that the drive shaft is the right length, but I don't have the end of the drive shaft that fits on this rear end. This is out of the Lincoln. The drive shaft's out of the truck. Larry has this out of the truck, this yoke. So I'm going to take it down to him. If it goes in, if it's got the right splines and everything, we're going to use that. He's going to replace my seal and that crush mechanism in there. We'll check out probably pop the cover off. Check that out. I don't know. He talked about axle seals, but I don't know. They look dry. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't know. We'll get it down there and see. But he said he would do that for me, and I gladly took him up on it. So that way, when I get this thing back, I did some mock-up using these old brackets here. I can run some other brackets off of them, and that can be my lower shock mounts. I got my shocks in, so I know which ones I'm using. Thank you, John Pennington, for the part number for the KYB shocks for the back. So I have to go to LMC anyway, so I'm going to chuck this rear end in the back of Shandog's Kia and head downtown KC and drop that rear end off and run over to LMC, pick up my parts. Oh, not really much else to report. I didn't intend to be out here but 20 minutes to half an hour 3 hours ago, because all I was going to do tonight was finish my pedals, just because I was just in a down mood, just because this weekend nothing seemed to go right. So, but you know what you have to do when stuff doesn't go right? You drive through it, and if you want to get done. So I've set a personal deadline for running, driving, stopping. if I'm not to running, driving, stopping by a certain point, and I'm not sharing what that deadline is, I'm gonna call it and throw up the white flag and say I ain't gonna make it. So that's it. Day 49. Day 55. Let's talk about what little progress has been done in the last several days. Okay, got the clutch pedal assembly taken care of. I think I talked about that in the last video. Got the plate bolted down. Really makes that firewall a lot more solid. So we got this baby in, ran the line, got it popped in, and I bled that clutch today. Seems like everything is working well. That went fairly smooth. So did that. Got the shifter rebuild kit done. That's a kit that I got off Amazon, of course. Comes with a couple of new bushings down in here, new pins, new cover with this dust cover, and it's all attached in one because it was not before. This is that plate that I ran that I believe is going to work fine. Let's talk about the rear end real quick. It's been out and back in again. Ran it down to Larry at Import Masters, and he knocked it out for me. He hooked me up with his old yoke off of his 8.8 from the F150, and you know what that means? It means the drive shaft from the F150 now bolts to the Lincoln LSC 8.8. That's obviously not the right pinion angle. It's just sitting in there. I have to spin this. We're not going to be setting pinion angle until this thing is all the way on the ground at its ride height and all that stuff. So that's just in there. Temporary, everything's bolted up. Pretty solid, but we are a ways from doing pinion angle. So, but just having a drive shaft that fits and is bolted down is, to me. Did a couple other things with the chassis coat. Figuring out what I need brake-wise back here. Need to get that ordered tomorrow. Not a whole lot of other stuff done. Let's talk about what has to get done this week, or this truck ain't going nowhere. And that is brake lines. There's 3 key things that have to happen this week. Let's talk, well, first, in order, has to be the steering column. I've got to get the steering column in. I've got to get it rebuilt, put those new bearings in it and stuff, and get it in, because I need that hole filled. For multiple reasons. Need a steering column, obviously. But I need to run my brake lines. So, column first, brake lines next, all the hard brake lines. And need to get my new kingpins put in and get these spindles attached to those drop beams so I can get ready to get those things put in. My wheels should arrive in 2 days. So the bed's going to stay on until I get the back wheels mounted, because I'm going to have to do some mods here. Talked about that in previous videos. It's going to be really close, but I'm preparing to do mods. So as soon as those get here and get those bolted on, see where we're at, and figure out where I'm going to have to cut. I just need to mark it so I know exactly where to cut, and then this bed can come off for hopefully the final time. So that is it. If those 3 things, if the column, the hard lines for the brakes, and the kingpins don't get done this week, I'm in a bad way, because that's really going to throw off a lot of stuff. Larry is thinning out the wiring harness for it. I think that's kind of the latest update. Anxious to see the wheels here and see if they're what I expected, and get some tires mounted on them and start doing some fit checking. But yeah, day 5-5, not a lot of progress in the last week, and it's going to be little time this week for all those things. So by the end of next weekend, 6-ish days, I need to by day 61, I need to have all those things done. The column, the brake lines, the kingpins. Oh, one other thing. There is on Larry's truck, on that 92, there is like a bolt-in box assembly that fits the angles here and everything that looks surprisingly like it should fit this truck, at least really close, and maybe I have to do some minor mods, but I can't leave this hole like this. This will be banging all over the place. So I'm hoping to find one of those. I got to run to a couple of pick and pulls this week and see if I can find one and get it in here so I can open up that hole a lot more and have that clearance. So when you're thinking you can build a truck in 100 days, after so many days, you start realizing sometimes the truck becomes the lower priority of everything going on in your life. So, and that's just the way it is. So I've told myself that, hey, if I can get this stuff done this week, there's still a good chance that I can pull this off. If I can't get that stuff done this week, yeah, the chances of pulling this thing off are pretty damn slim. So, but hey, I ain't giving up yet. But looking at realistic what's going on this week and with the family and kids, wife, all the stuff that we've got going on this week, and I work a full-time job. I don't know. We'll just have to see how this week goes. It's going to be a pretty important week. So day 55, that's it. Day 56, working on the steering column. So here's what we have. This is a column out of a 76 cab that I have out back. Must have been a power steering vehicle because it's the shorter column. So I went with it. I swapped over the turn signal switch out of the 70. Everything seems to line up okay. As you can see, it had the place for the automatic dial, which is right here. That automatic stuff is locked up solid inside. I had to cut the shifter arm off. No big deal. It's out of the way. There's a little switch here that's activated by the column. This thing, it's solid. I'm good with it. The turn signal switch seems to work, so we're going with it. I don't know what else to do. So this is this is the one that we're putting in the truck. It's going to have the shifter knob on it. I pulled the handle out just so it would be out of the way. I thought about just messing with people so they wouldn't know whether it was an automatic or a stick. So I thought about just leaving everything on it. Nah. One of these days I'll finish off something here, maybe put some kind of cover on it, because actually these Ford columns, when this is in place, you can see in here, which is kind of odd when everything is tightened down. Like that gap right there, you can see through there. I don't know. Don't really like that setup, but maybe I'll put a cover on here of some type, something. I don't know. Main thing is I need to get it in the truck and make sure it works and everything is going to be good. So heading that way. Gonna slide this thing in and see how it does. Wrapping up day 56, here's where we're at. So got the column in. It's just running into some more headaches. This bracket is the bracket that sits up in there. Actually, let's show you off this truck. It's just the bracing bracket for the column. It's got a clamp that wraps around, holds everything tight, gives it support right there. Manual steering cab. Power steering cab. So, manual steering bracket. No power steering bracket. That was off of this truck, which just had the column laying in the bed when I got it. So I don't think that piece was on there. So I'm probably just going to have to, if I can't come across one, I'll have to modify this bracket and make it work. I'll do that after we get everything else in there. And Just figure that out. I don't want to go cutting on this bracket yet because there is a chance that it's around here somewhere in this debacle. Could be a bracket that looks similar to this. I don't know. What I do know is we're wrapping up day 56. I'm whipped. The column's in. That was the goal. We're calling it good.